Hello, and welcome to Roy's Book Reviews. I'm Roy, and in this week's installment, I am going to be talking about The Mothers, which is the debut novel by author Brit Bennett. Brit Bennett writes with a steady hand as she immerses us into the minds and lives of three people in her exceptional first novel. Two of them are Nadia and Aubrey, who are close friends. Luke is the man that they both love, at different times as well as simultaneously. He is the man who would have made a mother out of Nadia had they chosen to parent, and the one who eventually makes a wife and mother of Audrey. When he's involved with Nadia, they're both quite young. He's in his early 20s. I believe she's still a teen. They're in a casual relationship, really not planning to get particularly serious. She gets pregnant. They have to make a choice, and since it's not like they were planning on getting married and settling down or anything like that, she decides not to have the child. And that, of course, is not a lightly made decision and is a decision that stays with you for the rest of your life. So as I was saying, he's the first love of both of them. But choices, of course, need to be made. And that not everybody can get a happily ever after out of such a situation. Or maybe not anyone. Then we have Luke's mother, who is the first lady of the church that plays a prominent role in the lives of all the characters in this book. To varying degrees, this woman's son and the women who love him succeed and fail at obtaining her approval. Nadia and Aubrey are both abandoned and motherless. Aubrey's mother chooses an awful man over being in the lives of her daughters. Yet Aubrey proves to be the character in this book who's the best at maintaining loyalty, I would say. She possesses an innocence that remains untouched no matter how ill she is treated. Nadia's mother chooses the release of death, and in killing herself, she fills her daughter with undeserved guilt and a restless soul, keeping her forever on the lookout for whatever clues and remembrances may have been left behind. Both of these girls are haunted to womanhood by maternal abandonment. Nadia at least still has a father willing to be there for her, but the hurt caused by her mother's unexplained suicide pushes her away from him and from anyone who tries to love her. And so she is not a particularly dutiful daughter. And after both her child and relationship with Luke are aborted, relationships with the men who follow are destined to fail. But ultimately, it's Nadia's betrayal of Aubrey that is at the heart of this novel. The mothers in Bennett's novel do the best they can. They're hurt and betrayed by callous men and by each other. And some of them manage to persevere while others do not. I was very much absorbed by this book, in part because it examines central themes that I dive into in my novel, Matters of Convenience. In both books, the idea that choosing to become a mother can come at the expense of choosing to let go of other things in your life that matter very much to you. And it may not seem fair because everyone deserves to pursue the greatest form of happiness that they can attain. That includes everyone wants to have everything, but the way life works out sometimes, tough choices need to be made. And when it comes to family, the burden often falls hardest on the mother, on the woman to decide whether she is going to sacrifice maybe career, maybe other things, in order to be there for her children, or if she chooses to pursue those other things while becoming a mother, then is she shortchanging her child? And for some reason in this society, it doesn't seem to be as much of a burden for men than for women to make these choices, even though, the same type of choices can be faced by a man as well by a woman, but expectations are that a woman is supposed to be maternal. She's supposed to think first and foremost about child that she's the one who gives birth to and therefore has this incredibly strong connection to. And if a woman chooses other pursuits over the welfare of her children, she could be looked down upon in society, and that's just the way it goes. And it may not be fair, it may not be right, but nevertheless, it is often the case. So this is a wonderfully written book by an author who I feel is off to a very impressive start in her writing career. I look forward to her next book very much. She is an African-American author. All of the characters, or at least most of them that I can recall, are African-Americans. I tried to read as many books by emerging Black authors as I can get my hands on, as well as those by authors from days of yesteryear. And a lot of times when you read older books by African-American authors, they tend to be about the struggle for civil rights, or if you go way back, maybe it's about, slavery or Jim Crow, and just dealing with the burden of being a Black person in a white dominated society. So it's a pleasure to read some modern novels by African Americans that are not about the struggle to overcome, but just about the struggle to be a human being, which, as we know, is a colorless, raceless condition. It's just something that we need to get through and do our very best to become the happiest people that we can be. The fathers as well as the mothers, but the mothers often have a greater burden to bear. So I highly recommend this book to you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about it once you have read it, or if you've already read it, just drop me a line in the comments and let me know what you thought. Thank you. Have a great day. Happy reading and happy everything else, including being a wonderful mother, if that's what you are, or a wonderful father, son, daughter, whatever you may be the best that you can be, whatever the heck that means.